Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have an Asus ProArt P16, the H7606 series. I'm going to take you on a teardown or disassembly tour, show you how to open the computer up, get inside, and many of the various components you can access once you're in. So first thing, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip the computer over to access our bottom case screws. Now you have quite a few screws in this computer, all noted with red arrows. The screws noted with green arrows have little plastic tabs covering them, so you will need to use a small flat pry tool to pop those tabs up to access those two screws. After you've taken the screws out, we'll take a small, flat, preferably plastic pry tool. I say plastic because that'll scratch your computer less than a metal one will. And we're going to go across the seam of the bottom case and pry it up from the rest of your computer. It's generally easiest to start near the top two corners of my screen and work your way down. Also, be careful not to put the pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components. Just keep it on the edge, be slow but firm, and just work your way down and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. After you've removed the bottom case, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model computer, I will have a link above. Also below in the description, it will have a list of all the tools and supplies that I use on this project, again, as well as any replacement and upgrade parts for this specific model, the H7606. Another thing I would suggest is before touching anything in a computer, I always remove or at least unplug my battery. Computers are safest to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. So here's your battery right down here. There are these two plastic guards that you can peel off. They are stuck down by tape, so you can easily peel those off. Once you do, you can then expose your battery plug there, noted by the green arrow. That's just a pull tab, so you can just pull that black plug directly up and off of the motherboard to get it out. Be careful not to pull on any wires in a computer as much as possible. Just try to put pressure on the actual plug. This battery was a 90 watt hour battery, 15.48 volts. I will have all the battery specifications below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement, but I will try to have a battery replacement in that link I told you about with all of the upgrade and replacement parts for this computer. And I guess as one final note about this type of operation, if your laptop is not turning on and that's why you're here, a bad battery could be the problem and you may need to replace it. But keep in mind that a laptop should still turn on and function well, even with a bad battery, as long as the power adapter is plugged in. So if your power adapter is plugged in and your computer is still not turning on, there may be another issue than just a bad battery. I will have a video link above and below in the description. It'll be a tutorial showing you how you can troubleshoot a laptop that's not turning on so you can find the cause and fix it. So now that the battery has been removed or at least unplugged, we can proceed deeper into the computer. You have two different storage ports here. You have one M.2 port on this side, on the right side of my screen, and another M.2 port on the left side of my screen. These both take the larger 2280 size solid state drives, Gen 4. I will have all the solid state drive specification down below in the description if you need help looking for your own replacement or upgrades, but I will try to have a couple different replacement and upgrade options below in the description in that link I told you about with all the replacement parts for this computer. I will try to have a 1 terabyte Gen 4 solid state drive, and I will also have a 2 terabyte solid state drive if you're looking to upgrade this computer. The way that you operate these, you see a single screw here on the right side of my screen. That's the only screw holding in this solid state drive. On the left side, the screw would be here. You undo that single screw, you pull the solid state drive out from this port, and you'll be able to get it out. There is also a large thermal pad under there, so make sure you put that back down. That helps heat transfer out of the solid state drive because sometimes they do get a little hot. As far as the RAM in this computer, unfortunately, there is no removable, replaceable RAM. the RAM is soldered and integrated into the motherboard. And I guess the last shout out to make about a solid state drive replacement, if you are putting a new solid state drive in, you may need to install an operating system onto it. I will have 2 video links below in the description if you need help with that. One will show you how to install Windows 10. The other will show you how to install Windows 11. Your speakers are right down here. You have one on the right-hand side of the computer and one on the left-hand side of the computer. Now, these are not actually screwed down. You see these yellow rubber washers that go over these posts for sound insulation. That's the only thing holding these speakers down. So if you want to get them up, you can just wiggle them right off, and it plugs into the motherboard right here. And again, just like the battery, try not to pull on wires if at all possible in a computer. You should be able to use your fingernails or a pry tool on the grips on either side of that white plug to get it out of the port. And I guess as a last side note with this kind of operation, if you are having sound quality issues in your computer, your speakers may need to be replaced, but it also could be a driver or system issue. So try to rule that out before attempting an invasive repair like this. I will have a video link above, also below in the description, showing you how to make sure all your drivers are up to date, your system's updated. So again, you can rule that out before trying this. You have your Wi-Fi card right here toward the center of my screen. This is a Wi-Fi 7 card, 802.11be, Bluetooth 5.4. I will have all that spec information below in the description if you're looking for your own replacement card, but I will include a replacement Wi-Fi card in that link I told you about below in the description with all the replacement parts for this model computer. You have a single screw right here. Once that screw is removed, the Wi-Fi card can then be pulled out of this port right here. And then all you'll have left are these 2 antenna wire that come down from this hinge assembly around the fan and snap onto the Wi-Fi card here. Those are just snaps, so those can just pull directly up and off of that Wi-Fi card. To get them back on, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap those back on. And you are strong enough to break it and damage it if it's not at the right angle and you try to force it. So just be patient, go slow. It can be a pain in the butt if you're not used to it, but you will be able to get those back on. And as a last side note for this type of operation, if you're having Wi-Fi issues in your computer, if you're not able to see any networks, or if you're not even able to access your Wi-Fi options, it could be something else other than just a bad Wi-Fi card. Up above, also below in the description, I will have a video tutorial showing you how to troubleshoot if you're not able to access your Wi-Fi options. This computer actually has 3 fans, as you can see along here, and a pretty good size heatsink assembly that goes from the vents over the CPU GPU area. First thing that I want to point out, you'll notice this sticker right here above one of the screws over the GPU. That is a warranty void sticker. You will encounter those in some computers in various locations as you go deeper into the computer. What these are is if you damage these or if the company sees that they've been removed, you void part or all of your warranty. So keep that in mind when doing DIY projects and disturbing stickers like this. To access your fans, you have 3 screws. This bottom fan, 3 screws here. This fan, 3 screws here. And this fan, these 2 screws and these screws. Now this fan on the left of my screen plugs into the motherboard here. This fan to the right of my screen plugs into the motherboard here. And this fan here plugs into the motherboard here underneath this plastic guard. These wires are all extremely fragile and very often can pull right out of the plug. So again, use your fingernails or a pry tool, but unplug these from the port without pulling on those wires if at all possible. To access your heatsink assembly, you have these 4 screws over the CPU, these 4 screws over the GPU. So I don't know why you're here watching this video. Perhaps you're here to replace a broken fan. Perhaps you're getting in here to clean your computer out. But I just want to shout out a word of caution. If you have to pick up your heatsink in any laptop for any reason and you expose the thermal paste to air, you do need to reapply it. Once thermal paste has been separated and exposed to air, its ability to do its job has been compromised. So I will have a video link above, also below in the description. It'll be a tutorial showing you how to fix an overheating laptop And one of the things you'll see in that video is how to clean off all the old thermal paste. You definitely don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. And then when you're reapplying the thermal paste, you don't want to reapply too much. If you put too much on, you can actually lock heat in rather than help it leave. So again, if you need that video tutorial showing you how to do that, it will be below in the description. And I guess the last thing to mention about this operation, not all thermal pastes are created equal. The cheaper stuff will work, but the more expensive stuff usually will do a better job. So in that link I told you about below in the description with all the replacement and upgrade parts and all the tools and supplies, I will have two different options for thermal paste. Again, the cheaper one is fine, but the more expensive one will work better. Thanks again so much for watching. Please remember to like and share if this helped you out, if you think it can help someone else out. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoy DIY computer content like this, or if you just want to keep me on hand to answer any of your future computer questions. I do try to answer all questions throughout my channel at least a couple times a day. Also, feel free to check out the related links section below in the description. From time to time, I do try to add things in there that I think will help you with your general computer life, make it more productive, more enjoyable. So thanks again for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.